Okay then, Helldivers, we are back and we have got a lot to go over today as the brand new Dust Devils Warbond has officially launched. On top of that, we've also received hotfix 01.004.001, and this has brought in a couple of changes as far as crash fixes and some changes to the Dust Devils items themselves as they've received buffs, although very strangely, they actually got changed after posting. So we're going to take a look into all of that and then tell you guys my opinion on each of the items inside of the Warbond after a little bit of testing inside of it. I have had a great amount of fun with it, but there seems to be some issues with one of the items which I think will really surprise you. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful like button, subscribe with post notifications turned on, it'd be greatly appreciated. And make sure you check out our incredible sponsor, GamerSupps, the company that provide esports athletes and gamers alike with the most effective and healthy energy drink option, and we now have our own tinned alternatives. The link in the description will take you there, and using code CloudPlays at checkout will get you a cheeky discount. And if you want to get involved with our super credit giveaway, then make sure you get involved with it by going down to the comment section and putting in a fire emoji in there, because my lord, it's been a fire week indeed. This is our latest winner for the super credits. Make sure you message me on Discord. But with that being said, let's dive into the game and see what it is that's happening right now. So starting off, we just want to quickly go over some things with the hotfix patch. Now, what we're actually reading right now is that there have been some changes to the balancing in terms of the brand new Warbond items. The MS-11 Solo Silo has got a cooldown change from 210 seconds to 180 seconds, and the Spear has got a decreased reload duration of 3.5 to 2.5. For the Speargun, it's absolutely great. For the Silo, love to see that the cooldown has been reduced. But what it originally stated was that they increased the demolition strength of the explosion for the Solo Silo from 40 to 50, which was peak. I was so excited about that because this thing has got some issues, so that's for sure. We're going to give you our opinion on that one later on as well. But they have resolved a load of general fixes, including a crash that would happen when too many particle effects were spawning, when Helldivers are in Hell pods being reinforced. There were so many issues, it was absolutely insane, but they have rectified so many general fixes and weapon and stratagem fixes, such as the Lift 182 warp pack getting stuck, suspended in the air, or crashing overall, and the backpack VFX issues whilst aiming down sights. There's been quite a few problems with regards to it, including the new Halo ODST AR being equipped in the Super Destroyer, causing multiple crashes left, right, and center. It's been a little bit of a nightmare, but they've rectified all of those this morning at the same time as they launched the brand new Dust Devils update. Now, when we actually take a look into the Dust Devils Warbond, though, there has been quite some good things to take note on and some pretty bad things. We're going to break it down for you guys in segments so you know exactly what we're talking about and what we're actually enjoying right now, because I think this one may actually shock you. First of all, we've got the armor. Yes, this armor is pretty damn enjoyable, with the Desert Stormer actually having a 40% resistance to all elemental typings and an increased throwing range of 20%. It has actually deemed to be a pretty decent armor set, and I'm really enjoying it, especially over on the new bug planets, where the Hive worlds have got so much going on with acid flying around everywhere, fire and gas being all over the place. It seems to be working quite well, and I've really enjoyed the armor for the most part. So, for me personally, it's probably worth it for that alone. The actual AR itself, the AR2 Coyote, the incendiary medium armor penetrating AR rifle, is genuinely one of the best rifles I've ever had my hands on. This thing is completely S tier and it just works as intended. Not only that, but we do have customization to make this thing a little bit more laser-like. It just narrows down all of that recoil and it makes it so fun to use. Now, the perk to this weapon is it's not only good on bugs, it's actually good everywhere. There's not a single faction that this doesn't compete up against, and I think it's probably because of the incendiary factors that it seems to be working so damn well. For me, this AR is going to be going straight up to 25 and probably not leaving my hands for quite some time, unless I obviously just want to test out some other bits. But this AR is probably the most S tier, and if you want to get the Warbond for anything, the AR is going to be the reason to do it. Moving forward from that, though, we've got the Speargun. Now, the Speargun caught me off guard, okay? I thought this thing was going to be absolutely atrocious. It was a single shot reload, and the main point on it was that it was showing that it could go through some really small chaff. Now, we actually took a bit of time into this, and over on the bugs, we did struggle to utilize it to its maximum capacity. It's quite good for the warriors and the hunters, but overall, when we take a look at the chargers and bio titans, this thing is not going to be utilized for near enough anything. We do have a bit of an issue with this one on the bug sector, but if you take it over to the automaton sector, my lord, this thing thrives. Just for instance, you can actually take it straight up to a Hulk's eye and one-shot that Hulk straight away. It's almost as if it has got a bit of a railgun damage. It's definitely because of that precision strike on side of the arrow itself, but you can do a lot of damage with this. It pops up a little cloud of gas at the exact same time as it hits, so you cause a bit of a explosion for gas after that, meaning that it can be quite good to deter massive swaths of ads as well. It kind of confuses them, puts them off guard and stuff, and if you are aiming for a Hulk to get that eye shot and you happen to miss, well, he just stands still completely confused, so you still got time to take off another one. For me, the Speargun was probably the most surprising item inside of the listing, and one that I probably enjoyed the most out of. Next up, we've got the Expendable napalm. Now, this is a support weapon that comes down from a hell pod in a run of 2 expendables. This is really, really fun. It is an incendiary napalm rocket launcher that has a cluster effect at the end of it. This is really, really good on the bugs, and it's generally going to be used mainly for taking out hordes of enemies, not so much the bigger impact on taking out things such as Bile Titans. If you are stuck in a position and you can see in the distance there's a massive horde of enemies coming, this thing is one to carry with you quite often. If you haven't had the chance to use this, then I definitely recommend it. It's probably on par with the EAT, but the usage for it is completely different. I'm really happy with it, and it's definitely a win in my books. And then we come to the final item for the stratagems, and that is the solo silo. Now, I have had a very colorful opinion on this over on stream, and some people agreed with me, some people did not. But this was probably the most underwhelming thing that I have seen come to the game for quite some time. I enjoy the Warbond overall, but this thing just takes the cake. Not only, if you take it over to the bots, can you not take out stratagem jammers, which we kind of knew was coming, but I was a little disappointed nonetheless when it just did nothing. We even deactivated the jammer itself, went back and tried to shoot it again, and it still didn't take it down. It was a really confusing factor. Maybe it did need that demolition force that they took out of the hotfix this morning, because it just doesn't cause enough damage. Now, what it can do is one-shot factory striders, which is probably where its highest compatibility actually runs through. Its overall usage, though, is really confusing. If we were on the bugs and we were having problems with it, the main reason why is because if you look at this thing wrong, it will just blow up. So you have to essentially time where you're going to use it and make sure that nothing is around you whatsoever to be able to fire that thing off, because a flick of the top of that pin will blow it up within a second. It has got a massive, massive time on it of a 3-minute cooldown, which makes it borderline redundant. The reason why I think it makes it borderline redundant is because if you take over a 500 kg, not only do you get 2 uses, but you get those every 2.5 minutes or so, depending on obviously what stratagem modifiers you've actually got. But it just doesn't seem to compete for me personally. I was really disappointed. It is an anti-tank and it does work for what its course is, but with such a long cooldown time and the ability to be destroyed if it gets touched in the wrong way, it just disappointed me a lot more than I thought that it actually would. If you guys have used it, let me know in the comments section, but I've spoke to a few other creators and we all seem to have the same opinion. This thing does need a buff in one way or another, whether it's a cooldown timer decrease. I can't believe it was ever at 210 seconds, because that would have just been absolutely abysmal, but that's just my 2 cents on the matter. Probably the most disappointing factor. Then we have got the grenade, the G7 Pineapple. The G7 Pineapple is a questionable grenade. It works for the most part as a cluster, and it is a light armor penetrating grenade. It does have explosive damages, but the light armor pen just makes it so that it's borderline useless. It looks really effective, but does very little. For me, the pineapple is quite fun if you're not too bothered about what you're using, but overall, as far as effectiveness, this thing is nowhere near where it should be. Now, that confuses me greatly because as the Warbond's laid out, both of the things that we think need buffing and both of the things we have issues with are on page number 3. Yet the highest to claim, most expensive to purchase, and I was just a little disappointed. I think that some of you guys are going to grill me in the comments, some of you guys are going to agree, but my opinion is my own and it will always stand as standard. And obviously this is just after a couple of hours of being able to use it, so fingers crossed it gets better, but we'll have to wait and see. Nonetheless, if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe and post notifications turned on. Appreciate your faces, guys, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.